I'm sure from the thumbnail you're wondering, Faith, how possible is this? Are you just trying to get views? Like, no. And I'm going to explain the reason why I said you can switch to skilled worker visa as an international student within 3 months of arriving in the UK. And yes, that is possible. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So hey lovelies, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, my name is FaithOjone, and on this channel I talk about ways you can travel abroad and settle abroad, and I share resources on how you can get started. I talk about the latest information concerning the UK, how to settle in the UK, and everything regarding the UK. So if this is the kind of content you like, hit the subscribe button down below, turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post new content like this. Without saying so much, let's get started. A lot of you have asked me several questions. I'm an international student and I'm going to be answering some of the questions on this video, but also I'm going to be telling you why I made the statement switch to skilled worker visa within 3 months of arriving in the UK. According to the Pie newspaper, it has been discovered that a growing trend of overseas immigration consultants using universities as stepping stones to help clients enter the UK, then switch to care jobs before they're required to pay full tuition fees. Okay, these routes offer a cheaper and faster pathway to full-time employment in the UK compared to the graduate route, which requires students to pay expensive course fees and maintenance for the duration of their courses before entering the job market. Okay, while this is completely legitimate immigration pathway, this is affecting universities' finances. A lot of universities are beginning to complain that students no longer complete their education when they come to the UK. A lot of students get worried like, oh Faith, is this possible for me to switch to skilled worker visa immediately I get to the UK? Can I do that? The rule is that when you come to the UK to study, you're supposed to finish your study. If you have like 3 months left to complete your study, you can then switch to a skilled worker visa. But right now, a lot of students are not doing that. A lot of students migrate to the UK as a student and immediately they get tier 2 sponsorship jobs. They just switch to skilled worker visa without completing their study and forgetting about their study, and this trend is increasing by the day. So before the universities start making complaints to the Home Office, or before universities start changing their rules around international students, I mean, if you're coming to the UK and you would love to switch to a skilled worker visa and you're worried that that might not be possible, it is possible. You can switch to a skilled worker visa immediately you land the UK. As long as you're living in the country legally, that's all that matters. And again, it's already stated in the rule that you can switch to a skilled worker visa if you are on a tier 4 visa or any visa that allows you to switch. The only visa that you cannot switch to a skilled worker visa on is a visitor's visa. So if you're coming to visit the UK, you cannot switch to any other visa on a visitor's visa. But for tier 4, that's student visa, the rules does not apply to you. So as a student, you can switch to any other visa within the UK. So that's why a lot of students are taking this opportunity. Before, I used to advise students, oh wait until you're 3 months to round up before you can switch. But right now, I mean, a lot of students are doing it, and based on this is not like me saying it, you can see universities already saying that this is a common trend that is happening. So a lot of people just use the study route to get to the UK and immediately switch to a skilled worker visa. But again, the common visa that a lot of students switch to is a health and care. It's not everyone that wants to be a carer in the UK. Some people are asking me, how possible is it to get another job that is not care related, something in a different sector and all of that? Students are getting jobs in a different sectors that is not care related with sponsorship, but it's all depends. It's limited sort of. So it depends on the sector you have experience in from your home country. So if you're from IT, it's a lot easier for you to get job with sponsorship as an IT person because it's in high demand in the UK. And if you're in other sectors that are not so much in high demand, the competition is so high that the chances of you getting a sponsorship is quite slim. And also, the salary requirement for sponsorship is a whole lot. And some companies' entry-level jobs do not meet the salary threshold for skilled worker visa. So that is why it's going to be a challenge, because if you're entering any company or you're starting from any company, you'll be starting as an entry level. So most times the salary might not meet the salary threshold that the skilled worker visa requires. So that will be another challenge. And some companies might have sponsorship license, but would not want to just give it to you until they see that you're worth it. Some companies will offer jobs with a clause like, okay, we'll offer you sponsorship, but we need you to work with us for at least 6 months. Let's see your capacity, what you can do, if it's what is us sponsoring you. A lot of companies I know do not just sponsor directly. They want you to work for them for a period of time first before they offer you sponsorship. So it's all depend on the organization, the job, and the sector or industry you are in, because it's not just offering you sponsorship that is involved here. They have to pay the NHS surcharge, because if you're not in health, you have to pay the NHS surcharge. And the reason it's easier for sponsorship from care job is because the government have waived off a lot of things for the carer. Because you're in the health sector, you're not going to be paying NHS surcharge, and because it's the health sector, the salary requirement is reduced. It's not like the skilled worker visa that is 25,000 per annum, or health and care is 20k. So it's a lot easier for the home care to sponsor your visa quicker, because their requirement is not as stiff as other occupation, and the immigration surcharge that they have to pay is going to be costing the company a lot more to sponsor you. If your occupation is not in health and care, if you're not getting a carer route, it's not as easy or common for companies to sponsor international students, because it's more expensive for them. That's why a lot of students just go for the carer route, because it's easier and faster, and I would say cheaper to get care visa compared to a different sector. Someone asked me this question because this news has been flying on social media, like according to the Street Journal, like the international students studying in the UK university are eligible for skilled worker visa. So the truth is, international students have been eligible for skilled worker visa even before Street Journal made this announcement, will I say. So it is not a news that as an international student you can switch to a skilled worker visa. So it's not like the Home Office made any changes. This has always been possible. As an international student you can switch to a skilled worker visa, but the rule is that you have to have completed your study in the UK, and maybe you have 3 months left to round up, then you can switch. If you find a company willing to sponsor you in the UK, you can switch. So this is not news, okay? So do not think, oh, the government made any changes, or no, this is not news. This is something that has been possible long time ago. Now I'm going to be talking about how can you switch to skilled worker visa within 3 months of arriving in the UK, as this has been a trend. People are switching to skilled worker visa and you're not getting into any trouble. Then what is stopping you? So switching to a skilled worker visa that is not care, there are some things you need to put into consideration. So normally a company would want to hire an experienced candidate, okay? And also there are a lot of barriers that might stop you from getting visa sponsorship that is not care related. One can be that the company have used off their sponsorship quota. Just because a company have the license does not mean they can sponsor unlimited amounts of people. No, they usually have like a cap, but that is going to change from 2023. The UK government is planning on removing cap on sponsorship. That's to say, companies with a license to sponsor can sponsor any amount of candidates that they want. The cap will no longer be there, which is good news. I mentioned this in one of my previous video. Another thing is competition. I saw the recent statistics on how many international students are currently in the UK. So even if you are looking for a job that is not healthcare related, that offer visa sponsorship, you're competing with over how many thousand international students and their dependents as well for sponsorship. Because it's not just international students that are looking for sponsorship, dependents are also looking for sponsorship. So what international students and their dependents do is that when they get to the UK, both of them will be searching for visa sponsorship jobs. So anyone that gets it first, the other person will now switch to skilled worker dependent. So you're competing with a lot of people to get sponsorship that is not healthcare related, because not everyone wants to be a carer. And again, some people, it's not something they love to do. So being tied to that job for 5 years is going to be mentally torturing. And I understand. So the competition is high now due to the numbers of international students and their dependents that are in the UK. So the next thing is the salary requirements. Most entry level jobs salary requirements is between 20 to 26 or 25k per annum, and also depends on the location. If you're living in London, chances of you getting an entry level job at 25k is very high, because of course London pays more, but again, it's expensive living in London. So getting an entry level job that will be paying you salary threshold for skilled worker visa is another problem. So most companies would likely go for individuals who already have the rights to work in the UK without sponsorship. Another barrier is cost of sponsorship. It's not just to issue your COS, there are other costs that are involved in sponsoring an individual, and it costs a whole lot to that company. So that's why companies will be like, is this worth it? Like going through this, spending so much money just to sponsor one person, or would rather look for someone that does not require sponsorship. So all these things are barrier that makes it a lot harder for those who are looking for sponsorship in a non-healthcare. The only thing I can suggest that can give you sponsorship quicker is internship in any company. Most internship are usually like 20 hours a week. Internship is not a full-time job, so it's easier for you to get internship. But again, if you've not completed paying your school fees and living expenses in the UK, you might likely not be able to take on internship. So if you're coming to the UK as an international student and you want to get a sponsorship job that is not healthcare, the best thing for you to do is to complete your school fees before you get to the UK. Make sure that the money you're needing is just for living expenses in the UK. Then when you get to the UK, first thing you need to do, just get an internship that is like 20 hours, and some internship can pay as much as £1,000 a month. So you can just look for internship and start, and after maybe 6 months or 7 months or 8 months of your internship, you can then use that experience on your CV and start looking for a full-time job with sponsorship. That will be a lot easier for you to get sponsorship. But if you have experience in other sectors from your home country, you can straight away apply for jobs with sponsorship in the UK. So a lot of people, I know few people who have gotten a job that is non-healthcare related with sponsorship as an international student, and they changed. And if you have a dependent that have experience in other sectors as well, that can also help. So I mean, it all depends on you and the sector you are in, because some sectors will be a lot difficult for you to be able to switch to sponsorship, while some sectors are not. I mean, this is everything I know. If you're international students in the UK, you have any contribution, leave it in the comment section below. Let's discuss this. Let's know what is happening. And guys, we have come to the end of this video. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comment section. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.